like life, married to it, my wife.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It is your boy Gavin from the AOA show, and today we got tiny RAK on a tiny piece of wood. Yes, you heard it here, folks. It is your boy RAK Wraith Razor from Tower of God on a little piece of wood. So what really brought this idea up was complete just coincidence. It was kind of hilarious. I was at the store looking for wood for a future project, really had nothing in mind. I just kind of go to the store and whatever comes to me. And I came across these tiny little blank pieces of basswood. And I was kind of looking at it and I was like, what would people actually use this for? Because it's just so tiny. And as I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, it would be hilarious if I just made like tiny RAK on a tiny piece of wood. And as soon as that thought crossed my mind, I before I knew it, the piece was in my hand and I was at the checkout line just ringing it out. And honestly, one of the best decisions I made, because this was just so much fun to make and such a challenge for me, because since it's on a tiny piece of wood, you have to be very careful on the impressions that you're making in the wood with your tool, because just if you press a little bit too hard, it'll burn too much and it'll throw everything out of whack. Any tiny detail you were trying to create is ruined, and it's a whole cluster of you trying to save the whole piece. So luckily that didn't happen to me in this process, but a couple times it came close where I kind of just went a little bit too hard and I was like, oh no, pull back, draw back. This is not good. But I was able to recover and finish it. So altogether, it was just a blast to do. So let's get into the actual shot itself of RAK and where that came from. So as some of you actually will probably recognize and notice, this is from episode 10 of the Tower of God anime. You see a theme there? I don't know. The reason why I chose this was similar to the Yuri explanation, where I really want to find these moments where these characters made a great impact on me. And the first medium that I was exposed to Tower of God was through the anime, obviously, if you've watched our channel before. So I kind of just went back and I was like, okay, I need to find a good scene that'll fit this piece of wood well and also capture just the essence of RAK, because we just don't see enough of them. And, scrolling through, I stumbled across episode 10, which is the episode where he first gets compressed from Han Sung, which was just hilarious in itself. But this scene in particular was when RAK approaches Kun's room with one of the greatest entrances ever, because Kun opens the door and he's like, "Where's your daddy?" And RAK gets pissed and tackles him, which was just amazing. But the reason why RAK went to Kun's room was because they were nervous that Bam wasn't going to continue climbing the tower because of Rachel's injury or broken legs or unusable legs. Not salty about that or anything. And out of almost sadness and desperation, RAK goes to Kun's room and pretty much says, like, "Hey, what's going on," more or less, and pretty much is talking about Bam. And RAK is like, "Well, he's climbing the tower whether he likes it or not, and I am making him climb the tower." And actually, right when he pretty much goes on that tangent, that's when this scene occurs, and he's like, "Blue turtle," and he points at him. If you also notice, I kept the actual subtitles in there because, like I said prior, when I take these shots, I try to keep them as close to the original framework that they were displayed in. And in this case, it was the anime, and the anime has subtitles. So I was like, you know what? They're staying in. I could easily not put them in, but I wanted to, and it was actually, I don't know if it was a good or bad idea, because when you try to trace letters that are so close like they were in subtitles, I didn't realize like they're actually pretty much like faded on top of each other with the shadow. So tracing it was a nightmare. It didn't come out that good, and I was like, you know what? I got to try to save it on the spot with the tool, because when you erase on wood, it is not very good, and you will see that later on in the episode. I'll jump back into that. So yeah, trying to trace out those little tiny subtitles, you'll see, was quite stressful, quite hard, but ultimately kind of content how it came out. Not bad. Compared to the rest of the piece, definitely is a little bit lacking in an eyesore, but it could have been a lot worse, and I am proud of myself for stepping outside of the box, because you know what? That is the exact reckless nature that our boy RAK would not only enjoy, but he would definitely push me in that direction and almost force me to take that route, because it's just RAK. And you know, when you're trying to draw RAK in this essence, you need to be in the mind of RAK and think, what would RAK do in this scenario? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And if I mess it up, then I'm just going to go in a corner and cry. But luckily, I didn't mess it up. You'll see it here in a couple seconds. But yeah, a lot of fun altogether. Just RAK itself is such a great character. He's a homie. Like, he is one of those people who, at least when you're good friends with him, in this case, Kun and Bam, he will literally take a bullet for you. Like, quite literally. He not only has your back 24/7, he is always thinking about you, and, you know, he's always on your radar where it's like, where's Blue Turtle? Where's Black Turtle? What are they up to? What are they doing? I'm just going to go see him. Like, he's so impulsive. It's amazing. And not only that, it just really portrays his care, you know, for people that he loves. And I assume that there's not many people who have been able to really break that boundary and, you know, other barrier of RAK, because at least in, you know, their group's case, specifically Bam and Kun, he really never interacts with people the way that he does. Like, obviously he screams, shouts, and does all the other, but when it comes to those really touching moments where you could just, you know, he loves them, it's a few and far in between, and every time you see it, it's very refreshing, and that just makes him such a great character in my eyes. Like, I just really like the way he's written. So does Ian. It's one of his favorite characters, and a little bit of, not inspiration, but a little bit of a reason that kind of kicked me into creating this piece, because you will see in a couple seconds that I will flip the piece of wood. Now, right now I'm shading, obviously, which was interesting and I thought would look cool, and it actually came out decent, which I was quite happy with. And here, really fast, I'm kind of scaling it, like showing you, you know, with the pencil, how big this piece of wood is, which is not really that big because it is smaller than a piece of pencil. But here on the back, I decided, you know what? This was on the fly, as you could see, not predetermined or anything. I literally just did it while I was recording. I thought, you know what? It would be cool if I maybe gave this to Ian, because he just loves his character so much. And yeah, I really stuck with it. And as you see here, this is the reason why I don't draw, because I am such a perfectionist. I literally just kept on drawing lines that I didn't like, erased it, wound up messing up the back of the piece of wood because it's not a good idea to erase on wood. Fast forward from when I said previously, I'll get back to that topic. It literally like gets ingrained in the wood and leaves pink stains, and it's messy. So I had to go back and sand it, and it roughed it out and it looked nasty. So I kind of got to the point where I was like really frustrated with myself for ruining the back of this. And I was like, you know what? What if I tried to like burn his name in without actually having like a pencil tracing or at least guidance to what I'm doing? And at that point I was like, you know what, getting in that RAK mindset, just going reckless, balls to the wall, and really hope for the best, because at the end of the day, it's staying on this piece of wood, whether it came out decent or not. And luckily for me, it came out much better than even when I initially traced it with a piece of pencil, which I was completely shocked by and honestly made no sense. But I rolled with it. It was like, you know what, maybe this is trying to tell me something. And afterwards, I really went even more reckless, and I was like, you know what, it would be really cool if I maybe like shaded around the outside of the letters and like gave it like a little bit of an effect. And luckily it turned out as good as I expected, which was awesome. But yeah, Ian, if you're listening, you better enjoy this, because you're not getting another one now. But it was really great making this video for you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, I will catch you later. Peace out.
Ninjas are samurais, blazing the kunais. Find me in the leaf of the cloud, screaming out Bankai. We just some ghouls though, who like seeing parts fly.